Who picked the name?
Oh,
that happened?
Okay. So I remember. I think I'll take credit for that one.
She won't take credit for starting the club. But she will for naming it.
I was thinking of a test, multiple choice. I wanted some play on words, and really, when you think about it, what does that mean? Really, it probably, if you analyze it, doesn't really mean anything, but it sounds clever. Multiple, and whatever choice means, but
it's which multiple you choose to work with that day.
That's all we had, and it's like we threw up a deck of 52 cards. And
So you had other names as possibilities?
we might have, but
you remember them?
They weren't good.
You were a little picture of kids. That I can tell you, Eileen found in a magazine.
Yes.
She cut it out and then she mimeographed. Is that a word anymore? Carbon copy. She copied it on a little typewritten newsletter. And she came one day and said, "Look, I found these pictures of these kids." And we said, "Oh, that's."
We loved it. It's really loved it.
That'll be.
You guys still use it?
It's since been redrawn.
I don't think I knew you. No. Every question you ask me, I'm going to just say, "I don't." And that'll be my answer. I prefer to none. But Judy and I live in the same neighborhood, and our kids our eldest are the same age. I mean, her quads are the same age as Alyssa, so I want to say that I knew of you, and I think that we might have gone to a Twins Club meeting of another group once and decided that that wasn't a group for us. I think that's what happened. But you should make it historical and say that it is. Risa I might have met at the Twins Club that we didn't join. And Betsy came about a year after the group started.
Excellent. So how did you actually form the club? Like, how did that process start?
She's making us look good.
I know, right?
We were at Irene's house. I think we decided that we had gone to one Twins Club, but we found that they weren't going to meet the needs of what we felt that we needed to have everybody to get together and to have speakers come in and to understand, get an understanding, what are we in for? How can we get advice? So I think that we came together and said, there's a need, and we felt there was a need in our area. The other Twins Club was not close by.
I think a couple of us just sat down at my kitchen table and said, let's try and do this better. We put an ad in the Pioneer Press and said we want to meet on Wednesdays. Call me. And people called, and I think there were between 12 and 15 people at the first meeting at my house.
No computers.
So just yesterday, I was with Amy's mom. I've never met Amy.
This is a weird thing. I know 3 out of 4 of you.
I know, that's so weird.
I know it's weird. I know you, Ellen.
Ellen, my first cousin is her first cousin.
And that's my neighbor.
That's the Nina Happiness. It's a big love fest.
And then I was her daughter's USI advisor.
And I taught her son. That's right.
Right, so my mom's taking people with Kitty now.
Yeah, well, so I'm going to be bat mitzvah when I'm 97. And I decided to take classes, and her mom is sitting next to me. And her mom tells me she has twin grandchildren, and I said, "Oh, well, was your daughter in a twins group?" And she said, "Yeah, she belongs to multiple choice." I said, "I'm going to a meeting."
Did you know I started that club?
Yeah. I say that, but then it sounds so, conceited. It's not cool.
Well, then Ellen and I are talking, and I just used her mother for the ketubah for the wedding. It's a small room.
Yeah, small room. So we're all connected in many ways. In many ways.
So speaking of connections, Can you speak to how did your husband support all of this?
He traveled, he's gone.
I got some of those here too.
I have a really involved husband, and he helped at least 50% or not more. In fact, I always say to him, I don't know what I don't know what I would do. You know, he's just one of those type of guys who's really hands-on with the kids. So,
you know, I don't know if the three of you remember, but back in the day when we did programming, we really did look to do some heavy-duty educational, have some great speakers come on those Wednesday nights to speak to our group. And I don't know if you're familiar, this particular doctor is a very well-known, I don't even know if he's around, Dr. Keith.
Yes.
So very well-known
Yes.
twins
Right.
expert.
Yes.
I mean, like renowned
Oh, yeah.
international.
and he's an identical twin.
We had him
We did have.
at one of our houses
Laura Conklin.
to, and we invited the husbands to come because we felt that the husbands had a stake in what we were learning, and that it was necessary to engage the men too. So there were a few programs that we invited the dads to come to too.
So if you guys can tell us how old your kids were when you joined, and then how long you stayed in the club. I know 4 years, and I think high school. And
Yeah,
then,
you know what?
and
After
then-
I said that, I was like, wait, was it that long? You know, the memory gap.
Right,
so
right. So-
don't quote me on that.
Okay, so how old your
Might not
kids
have
were
been.
when you joined, how long you stayed, and then I want to know why you left.
You want to start?
Well, so we started it in '87, at the end of '87. In fact, it was just around this time, I believe. So my twins at that time would have just been turning 2. And I believe that I was actively engaged for 4 years. You asked why I left, and you know, I think everyone has their own reasons. They were my cabooses. I had friends and activities and school with my 2 older ones, and so my world was widening all the time. And I think just naturally, you know, I moved into other areas. What impresses me is how many here are with the group for as many years as you are. It's certainly
it's
a testament
unbelievable.
to the friendships
Unbelievable.
that you've created. I think it's so great that you guys are trying to pull everyone together, and I wonder why it is that we never thought of figuring out a way to connect earlier. It was about 4 or 5 years ago that I saw an ad in the paper for this group, and I said, hey, wait, I know them.
So you had no idea that we were
Who did
sitting
I
around?
call? I don't know if I called Barb.
I think it was like 9 years ago.
My
kids were little.
Are you sure? Okay, so I called Barb and I introduced myself. I said, I used to be in this group, and I just wanted to say hi.
Did you know that it was still going on at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And then when I met Barb and came to, you have so nicely invited me to these luncheons over the last few years. When I came to the luncheon and I saw how many members you had, it was just wow.
So in the time that you guys were in the club, what's the most amount of members you experienced?
I don't remember.
I think 45.
I think every
We're running
About
at
45.
66 right now.
Oh,
That's
fabulous.
amazing.
There were 9.
All of you work so well together, and to have so many women take on all those responsibilities with raising your kids to keep the club going is
It's amazing.
It's
absolutely
amazing.
mind-boggling.
And it's so organized.
It is.
I'm
Oh my
so
God.
impressed by your meeting.
And the team,
I was
everything
totally
up on the team.
That was meant to be.
But you know, I always had a theory why women would get involved in a group like this as opposed to another type of volunteer organization. Because this is about your children whom you love more than anything else in the world. So working on projects that benefit them and at the same time benefit you, what greater joy could you get? So because it's your kids, I think it has that extra special meaning.
Do you have any like closing advice for us, like something that was just you didn't see coming, something to warn us about, like anything? Right.
Well, they do leave home. They do grow up and leave home, and those little boys and little girls who say, you know, Mommy, I love you, and I'm never leaving. You know, moved to Dallas and San Francisco, and all sorts of different points. And I don't think that that's unique to multiples, of course. Every moment for me, raising my children and having multiples truly was a blessing. Having a group like this and having friendships that came out of the group and having the support of a group like this was really something that was immeasurable. And I hope that you all appreciate each other for what you give to each other. You've certainly given something to me, and I haven't even been involved for all these years, so what I'm feeling from you guys is fantastic. I would say just keep sharing. You guys have intuition. You know what you're doing better than anyone else. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I'm just really. What was the question? I don't know.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. I'm just so supremely proud of this group, that it still exists, and how strong all your relationships are. So.
Well, we thank you. I was just gonna say we thank you for all that you've done, but we also appreciate looking back, like Ellen and Barb, and made a pact to say we're not going to leave when the kids turn 5 or 6, and that's what kind of started this wave of more of us sticking around. So we also thank them, for carrying that on and continuing the warmth and just the feelings that I think you felt when you brought your group together. I think that's something that has really transferred from group to group, even as the memberships changed. I've been a member for almost 10 years now, and just that warmth has always been there.
So nice. But you could feel it. You could just feel the warmth. I walked in, and it's just like, it's just a feeling. The love that
The
you
noise
have.
hits you.
Well, and I said to the girls, I feel like I'm back in the day again. I'm sort of transported back to multiple choice 1987 when we were sort of running on the seat of our pants.
I didn't remember.
And that's what it was. And you know what? And that was perfect. Because it didn't matter what we did. It was just that the group was
all together. We were all together. There was commonality.
Right, and that's really what this is